Shaka, let's dive in on some transfer possibilities. After all, it is that time of year. We'll start in the Bundesliga, where Borussia Dortmund now have to replace Sebastian Salazar after his unfortunate cancer diagnosis. One of the names, Shaka, that's been linked there is Luis Suarez. You think he's still got it in him?
Not for a team like Borussia Dortmund. Listen, given who Dortmund have been for quite some time, given their reliance on youth, pace, and counter-attacking game, I'm not sure that Luis Suarez, well, quite clearly, doesn't tick the box for youth. I don't think he ticks the box for pace and fitting into a counter-attacking team anymore. Once upon a time, certainly, there are many players in the game who would have been better than Luis Suarez at his prime. But right now, I just don't see how that works.
Another big name that could be moving this summer is Jules Kounde. Looks like Chelsea and Barcelona are the leaders right there. Give me the player's perspective first. If you were Kounde, where would you go between those two clubs?
Between the two, I'm thinking Barcelona right now. Despite their struggles and despite the mess that this club has been in, and certainly most publicly over the last couple of seasons, this Barcelona are still a huge draw. I think there's a great need for players like Kounde, that defensive type player, for Barcelona. That probably is the department where they're lacking most. I think the attraction in getting in being involved with Barcelona right now is you feel that they have the pieces in place to again make a significant run in La Liga, in European football, or at least make significant strides on being better than they were over the last couple of seasons. And it's attractive to be a part of that. In going to Chelsea and a manager like Thomas Tuchel, they are far closer to being the completed piece. So it really is where you see your career right now for Kounde. I still think Chelsea are way behind City and Liverpool domestically. Can they repeat Champions League success of a couple of seasons ago? Again, I'm not so sure. So if it were me, if it were me having to make that decision right now, I'm leaning Barcelona.
So Kounde has gotten a lot of headlines in this transfer window. Another player who has is Jesse Lingard. Lingard's been linked to Major League Soccer, Saudi Arabia, half of the Premier League. And yet it's Nottingham Forest where he's going to end up. What do you make of it?
Interesting turn of events from 12 months ago. And of course, somebody who follows West Ham as I do, Sebi, I recognize how highly thought of he was at West Ham, how desperately David Moyes was to bring him in, how successful he was, and the last couple of seasons that West Ham have had. And now all of a sudden, given how good West Ham were last season, it seems that Jesse Lingard, and maybe it's what he's asking, is not in keeping with what West Ham are prepared to offer. No, all of a sudden, Jesse Lingard has gone from a team competing for European football to a newly promoted team who you expect will be battling relegation. No, I didn't understand Lingard's decision 12 months ago. And this is a result of that, and it's an amazing fall from grace, if I were to put it that way. Now, that maybe is a little bit harsh in speaking about a Premier League player going to another Premier League club, but we'll see how this season pans out. As I mentioned, what the expectations are for Forest season.
One of the many clubs that Lingard was linked to was Everton. I know you saw this last night in a preseason friendly against Minnesota United of Major League Soccer. They lost. Okay, you lose a preseason game, but the scoreline is pretty impressive. 4-0 to Minnesota United. How worried should Everton fans be right now?
Very. On the one hand, though, I never want to read too much into preseason friendlies. It really depends on the club, where they are in their development, what you might be working on, and that varies. So just given my own experiences of playing in preseason games, I really am reluctant to read anything into score lines or preseason performances. But if you're a team like Everton and you just narrowly avoid the drop last season, and you just lost the striker whose goals in the running have kept you in the Premier League. And this is how you start. I am worried. I am very worried for Everton at this point. The only hope is, as you often do when you're a team expected to struggle, is you start looking around the league and see who can be worse off. You look at the promoted teams, how have they equipped themselves, what have they done, and then compare that to what you've done or haven't done, as the case may be. And even with all of that, if I'm an Everton fan and I'm looking at at everybody else who might have struggled, at everybody else's off season, and as much as I don't want to read too much into that result, I'm not overly thrilled.
Everton, by the way, not the only Premier League team to lose to an MLS team last night. Chelsea, in penalties, falling to Charlotte FC.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.